The night sky above the burning city was red with fire. Towers of crystal and stone fell one by one. The air was filled with smoke and screams. Among the chaos, a young alien girl named Liara ran through the broken streets. Her small feet stumbled on the sharp ground, but she did not stop. She could not stop. Behind her, soldiers hunted like wolves. Liara was no ordinary child. To her people, she was cursed. From the day she was born, strange signs had appeared around her. Crops withered, machines broke, storms came without warning. The elders said she carried doom in her blood. For years, she was hidden away. When war came, they blamed her again. Her own family whispered, "She brings bad luck." They abandoned her to die. Now she was alone, chased not only by the enemy but by her own kind. She could feel the heat of warships above. Their shadows passed over the city like vultures waiting for prey. Every window she passed was closed. Every door she knocked on remained locked. No one wanted her. Her chest hurt with fear, but also with a question. Why? Why does no one care? She found shelter in the ruins of an old temple. Inside, broken statues lay on the ground. The once holy place was silent now, except for her trembling breaths. She fell to her knees, staring at the small device in her hands, a communicator. She had stolen it from an abandoned outpost. It was her only hope. She pressed the button and spoke with a weak voice. "Please, is anyone listening? This is Liara. I am trapped. They want to kill me. Please, somebody help me." Her voice cracked. She waited. The communicator answered only with static. She tried again. "Please. I do not want to die here. My people left me. My friends turned away. If anyone can hear this, I am begging you." Minutes passed. The silence felt like knives cutting her hope. Perhaps the galaxy truly had no mercy. Perhaps the curse was real. Tears rolled down her cheeks as she looked at the black sky through the broken roof. Then, a thought came to her. She remembered the stories told by the elders. Stories about the most dangerous species in the galaxy, humans. They were called carnivores, hunters, predators in the shape of men. Other races spoke of them with fear. "Never call the humans," the elders had warned. "If they come, you will not survive." But what choice did she have now? Her hands shook as she adjusted the communicator. She switched the frequency, the one her elders had forbidden. Her voice was little more than a whisper, but it carried all her pain. "To the humans, if you exist. I am Liara. I am alone. They all want me dead. Please, if you have any mercy, save me." Her heart raced. She half expected death to strike instantly, as if speaking their name was enough to summon doom. But only silence answered. She curled against the cold stone floor, closing her eyes. She imagined what the humans might look like. Huge jaws. Sharp teeth. Eyes that glowed in the dark. Monsters who ate flesh and drank blood. If they came, would they kill her quickly? Would that be kinder than burning alive in this city? The temple shook as another blast struck nearby. Dust rained from the ceiling. Liara screamed and covered her head. She wanted to live, but no one wanted her alive. Then it happened. Through the static of the communicator, a new sound appeared. Not noise. Not silence. A voice. Clear. Strong. Human. "We heard you," it said. "Hold on. We are coming." Her blood froze. The communicator slipped from her hands. For a moment, she thought she was dreaming. Did the humans really answer her? Or was it some trick from the enemy? The voice came again, calm and steady, yet filled with something powerful. "You are not alone, Liara. Stay alive. We will find you." Her heart pounded. The forbidden species, the most feared hunters in the stars, had heard her cry. And they promised to come. She looked out of the temple at the red sky. Somewhere above, beyond the smoke and fire, ships moved. One of them was human. One of them was coming closer. For the first time since the war began, Liara felt something strange. Not fear. Not despair. But hope. Still, questions cut through her mind like knives. Why would the humans help her? What did they want from her? Were they saviors, or were they only answering her call to drag her into a darker fate? The ground shook again as enemy machines entered the city. She heard their metal steps. They were closing in. Liara clutched the communicator to her chest. She whispered, not knowing if the humans could hear her still. "Please, hurry." Her eyes filled with tears as the temple doors burst open. The soldiers had found her. She screamed, pressing herself against the wall. But before they could reach her, the sky above cracked open. A shadow, vast and sharp, descended through the smoke. A ship unlike any she had ever seen before. Black metal. Red lights. Engines roaring like the breath of a beast. The soldiers stopped in their tracks, staring up. Fear filled their faces. Liara followed their gaze, her own heart trembling. The humans had come. And nothing would ever be the same. The black warship hovered above the burning city like a predator in the sky. Its hull was sharp and silent, glowing with faint red lines that cut through the smoke. Every alien in the streets below froze. Even the soldiers who had come for Liara stared in fear. They all knew the stories. Humans were not saviors. They were not allies. They were hunters, destroyers, eaters of flesh. To see their ship arrive here, on this doomed world, felt like a nightmare pulled into reality. Liara pressed herself against the temple wall, shaking. She had called them. She had summoned the monsters. Was this her mistake? Would they kill everyone here, starting with her? The enemy soldiers backed away, unsure of what to do. Then, with a deep mechanical growl, the human ship opened its landing bay. A ramp extended, and figures appeared at the top. They were taller than Liara imagined. Their bodies were wrapped in black armor, with helmets shaped like skulls. Their movements were sharp and confident, like creatures born for war. They carried weapons that hummed with unseen power. One of the soldiers whispered in horror, "The carnivores, they are real." Liara's heart raced. She remembered the warnings. Never trust a human smile. Behind their teeth waits hunger. Behind their eyes waits madness. Yet the humans did not attack. They did not shoot at the soldiers, nor at her. Instead, one of them raised a hand. The helmet opened, and a face was revealed. It was a man, his skin pale from the cold of space, his eyes sharp and focused. But there was no hunger in his gaze, no madness. Only determination. He spoke, his voice deep and steady, echoing through a translator. "Leave the girl." The alien soldiers hesitated. Their commander shouted back, "She is cursed. She belongs to death. Why protect her?" The human's face hardened. He lifted his weapon and pointed it at them. "Because she called for help. That is enough." The soldiers exchanged nervous looks. They had never seen such defiance. Humans were infamous for fighting battles no one else dared to fight. And here they were, threatening an entire squad just to protect one abandoned child. Liara could not move. Her body shook between fear and disbelief. Why? Why would they do this for me? The commander raised his rifle, anger in his eyes. "You cannot fight us all." The human's voice turned cold. "Try me." A silence fell over the temple. The soldiers slowly stepped back, their courage breaking. They had faced many enemies before, but not humans. No one wanted to be the first to test the fury of a predator. The human lowered his weapon slightly, keeping his gaze locked on them until they vanished into the smoke. Liara gasped for breath. Her legs gave way, and she collapsed to the floor. She did not know whether to cry or run. The humans had saved her, but for what reason? The man turned toward her. His boots echoed on the stone floor as he walked closer. The other armored humans followed, their eyes hidden behind black visors. She pressed herself against the wall. Don't hurt me." The man stopped a few steps away. He knelt down, his weapon resting at his side. His expression softened, though his eyes remained sharp. "We won't hurt you," he said. "You asked for help. We answered." Liara blinked in shock. But you are humans. Everyone says, you eat people." The man tilted his head. For the first time, a faint smile touched his lips, though it was not cruel. "Not our friends," he said. And not children. One of the other soldiers laughed softly behind the helmet. She thinks we're monsters. The man ignored him. He extended a hand toward Liara. His palm was steady, open, waiting. You can stay here and die, he said. Or you can come with us. The choice is yours. Liara stared at his hand. Her heart beat so fast she thought it might break her chest. Was this a trap? Were they only pretending to be kind? But then she remembered the voice on the communicator. You are not alone. We will find you. It was the same voice. He had kept his promise. She reached out, her fingers trembling, and touched his hand. His grip was strong, pulling her up to her feet. Good, he said. We'll keep you safe. The other soldiers surrounded her, guiding her toward the ramp of the ship. As she stepped closer, Liara saw its walls up close, black steel, covered with scars of past battles. Inside, the ship glowed with dim red lights, like the belly of a beast. Her fear returned. Every instinct told her to run. But the city was dead, and the soldiers would return. She had nowhere else to go. She climbed the ramp, entering the predator's den. The air inside was cold and heavy, filled with the smell of metal and oil. Strange machines lined the walls, humming softly. She felt like prey walking into the jaws of a hunter. The man walked beside her. Don't be afraid, he said. You're safe now. But could she believe him? The ramp closed behind them with a hiss. The outside world vanished. Liara realized there was no turning back. She was now in the hands of the most feared species in the galaxy. Her heart trembled with both terror and hope. Then, alarms blared through the ship. A soldier shouted from the control deck. Enemy ships on approach. They are hunting her. Liara froze. The humans had saved her once. But would they risk their lives again? Would they fight for her, or hand her over to survive? The man looked down at her, his eyes steady. Stay behind me, he said. The predator ship roared to life, engines burning. Outside, the enemy fleet was closing in. And Liara's fate was about to be decided. The human ship surged upward, leaving the burning city behind. The engines shook the air, a thunder no alien ship had ever matched. Liara clung to the nearest seat, her small hands gripping the cold straps as fear tightened around her chest. The inside of the ship felt alive, like the stomach of some giant beast. The walls were black metal, glowing faintly with red lines that pulsed like veins. Strange weapons and armored suits lined the corridors. Every step echoed, every sound reminded her she was surrounded by hunters. Humans. They moved with speed and discipline. Each soldier knew exactly where to go. Their boots slammed against the metal floor, their voices sharp with commands. Liara felt tiny among them, a fragile creature in the den of predators. The man who had saved her, the one with the calm voice, removed his helmet and handed it to another soldier. His hair was dark, his face marked by old scars. Yet his eyes, they were not the eyes of a monster. They were focused, steady, filled with something she had never seen before, resolve. Bridge, he ordered. Now. The soldiers guided Liara down the hall. As they walked, she noticed their bodies. Strong, broad-shouldered, muscles moving like coiled steel beneath armor. Their weapons hummed with hidden power. She remembered the warnings from her people. If humans look at you too long, they see prey. If they smile, it means you're next. Her stomach twisted. Why were they helping her then? Why had they not eaten her already? They entered the control room. Large screens glowed with symbols she could not read. The galaxy stretched beyond the glass, a sea of stars, broken by the shadow of approaching ships. Enemy vessels. Liara's throat tightened. They had not given up the chase. They still wanted her dead. Multiple signatures, a soldier reported. His voice was calm, almost cold. They're locking weapons. The human leader looked at Liara. Is it you they want? She nodded weakly. Yes. They call me cursed. They want me destroyed. The room fell silent for a moment. The humans exchanged glances, unreadable behind their armor. Finally, the leader spoke. Then they'll have to go through us first. Liara's eyes widened. Why? Why would you fight for me? You don't even know me." The man leaned closer, his voice steady. "Because you asked for help. That's enough for us." Her heart trembled. No one had ever spoken to her like that before. Her own people had thrown her away, yet these strangers, these feared carnivores, were standing between her and death. Still, doubt gnawed at her. Maybe they only wanted something from her. Maybe humans saved her to use her curse for their own power. She hugged her arms around herself, unsure whether to believe his words. The ship shook violently as enemy fire struck near their hull. Lights flickered red. A warning siren screamed. "Shields holding," another soldier said. But not for long. The leader turned to his crew. "Engage. Full counterstrike." The humans moved instantly, like predators leaping on prey. Their ship twisted through space with brutal speed. Weapons fired, blazing lines of energy that tore across the darkness. Enemy ships exploded in sudden bursts of light. Liara's mouth fell open. She had never seen such combat. Her people's fleets fought with caution, always retreating when odds turned against them. But humans? They fought like beasts. Fearless. Unstoppable. Every shot they fired felt like a hunter's strike, aimed not to scare but to kill. The enemy was stronger in number, yet the humans ripped through them with reckless fury. One soldier laughed as the ship dived between blasts. "These cowards don't know who they're dealing with." Liara could hardly breathe. Part of her was terrified, these were the monsters her people feared. But another part was amazed. Still, as more enemy ships closed in, her fear returned. "There are too many," she whispered. "You can't win." The leader looked at her, his eyes fierce but calm. "Winning doesn't matter," he said. "Keeping you alive does." Her heart stopped. No one had ever said such words to her. The ship spun again, guns roaring. Enemy fire filled the void, shaking the hull with thunder. Liara pressed her hands to her ears, eyes shut tight, whispering, "Please don't let them die, please." When she opened her eyes, she found the human leader still standing tall, giving orders with unshaken resolve. Every human in the room fought not with fear, but with savage joy. She realized then that the stories were true, humans were predators. But the stories had left something out. Predators were dangerous, yes. But they also protected their own with unbreakable strength. And somehow, they had decided she was one of their own. The ship rocked again. Sparks flew from the ceiling. A soldier shouted, "Enemy reinforcements incoming. Heavy cruisers." Liara's blood ran cold. She looked at the humans. Surely now, surely this time, they would abandon her. No one could face a fleet that size. But the leader only smiled, a sharp, fearless smile that made her shiver. "Good," he said. "Let them come." His crew answered with a roar, slamming controls, readying weapons, their eyes burning with the fire of battle. Liara stared at them, her fear tangled with awe. Who were these people? How could anyone fight like this for a stranger? For the first time in her life, she did not feel cursed. She felt chosen. Yet deep in her chest, one question still echoed. Would these hunters remain her protectors, or was she only walking deeper into the jaws of the predator? Outside, the enemy cruisers locked weapons. The stars lit up with fire. And the battle for Liara's life had only begun. The battlefield of stars burned. Human guns ripped through smaller ships, explosions lighting the void like falling suns. Yet for every enemy destroyed, two more appeared. Their formation was tightening, closing in like a steel net around the lone human vessel. Liara sat strapped into a seat near the bridge, trembling. Her hands were white from gripping the straps. Each time the ship shook under impact, her heart skipped a beat. She had never seen war from this close before. And now her life hung on the choices of the humans. On the main screen, the enemy fleet shifted position. At the center, a massive cruiser emerged from the smoke of battle. Its hull was marked with the blood-red crest of her people's oppressors. This was no ordinary ship. It was a command vessel, the heart of the fleet. A voice boomed through the comms, cruel and commanding. "Human ship. You fight like beasts, but you are outnumbered. We know why you are here. Hand over the cursed child, and we will let you leave alive." Lyara's blood turned to ice. They meant her. Again. Always her. The humans went silent. Their captain, her rescuer, stood still, his eyes fixed on the screen. Every soldier on the bridge waited for his word. Lyara's lips trembled. She wanted to believe they would protect her, but how could they? There were too many enemies. No one could win this fight. Maybe giving her up was the only way they could survive. She whispered, her voice breaking. You should give me to them. If you don't, they will kill you. The human captain turned toward her. His expression was sharp, his voice steady. We don't abandon those who ask for our help. Her eyes filled with tears. But I am cursed. If you save me, you will all die. He shook his head. No. If we give you up, then we stop being human. That is worse than death. The crew tightened their grips on their weapons. They did not look afraid. They looked ready. Lyara stared in shock. Her people had left her without hesitation. They had called her a curse, a burden. But these predators, these monsters the galaxy feared, were willing to face death for her. The voice from the enemy ship returned, mocking. Fools! Do you think you can fight us all? Your ship is small, your numbers weak. This is your final chance. Give us the girl, or burn with her. The human captain's jaw tightened. He stepped closer to the screen and spoke with ice in his tone. Over our dead bodies. The enemy commander laughed, a cruel sound echoing through the speakers. So be it. The trap closed. Enemy ships spread into a circle, weapons locked on the human vessel. The cruiser's guns glowed bright, ready to fire. Lyara felt her breath freeze in her lungs. She was about to see these humans die because of her. But instead of despair, she saw something else on their faces. Excitement. Hunger. Like wolves who had finally found worthy prey. Targets locked, a soldier announced. Fire everything, the captain ordered. The ship roared to life. Guns unleashed a storm of fire, missiles streaked across the void. The humans did not retreat. They charged straight at the fleet. Lyara screamed as the ship dove into the heart of the enemy trap. Blasts tore past them, shields shook, metal groaned. But the humans pressed forward, fearless. On the screen, explosions blossomed like red flowers. Enemy ships shattered one after another, unable to match the humans' savage tactics. They fought like predators cornered, turning desperation into ferocity. Still, the odds were overwhelming. Lyara could see it. For every enemy destroyed, more ships closed in. The cruiser's guns had not yet fired. When they did, no human ship could survive. Her hands shook. She wanted to shout, to beg them to stop, to hand her over and save themselves. But no words came out. Deep down, something inside her refused to speak. She did not want them to abandon her. The captain's voice cut through the chaos. Hold the line. Do not break. The humans roared in answer, as if his command lit fire in their blood. Every strike they made was brutal, precise. Their laughter echoed even as alarms screamed warnings of damage. Lyara had never seen anything like it. Other species fought to win. Humans fought because they refused to lose. The enemy commander's voice returned, now tinged with anger. Why die for her? She is nothing. A cursed child. The human captain answered with a cold smile. Then remember this, humans die for each other. Even for those you call nothing. The words struck Lyara harder than the battle itself. Her chest ached. No one had ever called her worth dying for. Not until now. But as the enemy cruiser's cannons charged, her fear returned. The screen lit up with deadly light. The enemy was ready to end it all. The captain's eyes narrowed. Brace for impact. The ship shook violently as blasts tore through their shields. Sparks rained from the ceiling, alarms howled. Smoke filled the bridge. Lyara clung to her seat, heart pounding. The trap had sprung. Would the humans survive it, or was this the end of them all? The human ship shook under the storm of fire. Alarms screamed through the bridge, sparks leapt from broken panels, and smoke filled the air. Lyara pressed herself against her seat, every muscle trembling. She was certain this was the end. The enemy fleet had trapped them. The massive cruiser's guns glowed with power, preparing another deadly strike. Around them, dozens of ships circled like vultures, waiting to tear the humans apart. Yet when Liara looked at the humans, she saw no fear. Their faces were set like stone, their eyes burning with fire. They did not look at her with blame. They did not even look at the odds. They only looked forward, toward the fight. The captain stood tall, his voice steady over the chaos. Damage report. Shields at 20%. Hull breach in the lower decks, a soldier answered quickly. The captain nodded, his jaw hard. Weapons. Still online. Every last one. A sharp smile touched the captain's lips. Good. Show them what happens when you corner humanity. The crew roared in answer. Fingers flew over controls, weapons locked, engines screamed with power. Liara's eyes widened as the ship moved, not away from the enemy, but straight toward the heart of the trap. She cried out, "No, you'll die." The captain glanced at her, his gaze calm but fierce. Better to die fighting than to live on our knees. The ship surged forward. Cannons unleashed a storm of fire, missiles streaked across space. Enemy ships erupted in flames, torn apart in seconds. The humans did not fight with order or hesitation. They fought like predators, wild, aggressive, unstoppable. Where other species aimed for safety, the humans aimed for the kill. The ship spun through the fleet, weaving between blasts with impossible speed. Each time an enemy tried to corner them, the humans turned and struck with savage precision. A cruiser twice their size exploded in a single burst, its wreckage scattering across the void. Liara's heart pounded. She had seen battles before, but never like this. Her people fought with fear, always calculating losses, always retreating. The humans were different. They did not retreat. They did not hesitate. They fought as if pain itself was fuel for their fury. "This is madness," she whispered. A soldier near her grinned behind his helmet. "No," he said. "This is humanity." More enemy ships closed in. The sky lit with fire. The human ship shook again, taking heavy damage. Liara screamed as a panel burst beside her, flames licking the air. But the humans did not break. The captain's voice rang out again. "Forward batteries, fire everything." The main cannons roared, tearing through 3 enemy ships at once. Explosions rippled like shockwaves. Debris scattered across the void. Still, more ships came. The trap tightened. Liara's stomach turned. She could see it clearly now. The humans were fighting with unmatched fury, but the enemy fleet was endless. They could not win. The enemy commander's voice echoed through the comms, mocking and cruel. "Pathetic creatures. Is this your fury? All for a cursed child? You cannot escape us." The captain's eyes narrowed. He spoke into the comm with ice in his tone. "You made one mistake." "And what is that?" the enemy scoffed. "You thought humans would surrender." The ship suddenly dove straight toward the massive cruiser at the center of the fleet. Liara gasped. "No. That ship is too strong." But the captain did not slow. His voice thundered across the bridge. "All guns, concentrate fire on their command vessel." Every weapon fired at once. Missiles, cannons, beams of energy, all slammed into the cruiser's shields. The massive ship shook under the impact, lights flickering across its hull. The enemy commander shouted in disbelief. "Impossible. You cannot." Another blast hit, and his voice cut off. Liara's mouth fell open. The humans were doing the unthinkable. They were attacking the heart of the fleet with a single ship. The enemy vessels panicked, scrambling to shield their leader. But the humans pressed forward, relentless. Even as their own ship bled sparks and fire, they never slowed. Liara could feel their fury. It was like standing beside a wildfire, unstoppable and merciless. For the first time, she understood why the galaxy feared them. Humans were predators who fought not with numbers or strength, but with something far greater. They fought with wrath. The massive cruiser fired back, its cannons blazing. The human ship rocked violently. Lights went out across the bridge, alarms screamed louder. Liara fell to the floor, gasping. "We can't take another hit," a soldier shouted. The captain's face hardened. He placed a hand on the console, his eyes locked on the enemy ship. Then we make the next one count. Liara froze. What do you mean? He turned to her, his voice calm, almost gentle. If we must die, we'll die making sure you live. Her eyes filled with tears. No. Please, you can't. But before she could finish, the ship roared forward again, heading straight for the enemy cruiser. The humans shouted as one, their voices filled with savage determination. The enemy panicked, firing everything they had. But the humans did not stop. They took the fire, burning, breaking, but still moving. Liara gripped the floor, her heart breaking with terror and awe. The Predator ship closed in on the cruiser, guns blazing, wrath unchained. The stars themselves seemed to tremble. And in that moment, Liara knew, the galaxy had never told the full truth. Humans were monsters, yes. But they were monsters who chose to protect. The battle reached its peak, fire consuming the void. And the humans prepared for their final strike. The human ship charged toward the enemy cruiser, fire and smoke trailing from its broken hull. Every alarm screamed, every screen flashed red, but the humans did not slow. They shouted, roared, and pushed their ship forward like a predator refusing to die without taking its prey. Liara clung to her seat, her heart hammering. She had never seen such madness. No one in the galaxy would dare attack a cruiser head-on. No one, except the humans. The enemy commander's voice cut through the chaos, filled with fury. Stop them. Destroy them now. Dozens of ships unleashed fire, trying to block the humans. The void lit up with burning light, but the Predator ship weaved through it, each blast narrowly missing. The hull groaned, metal tearing, yet still they moved forward. Liara's chest tightened. Tears blurred her vision. They are dying for me, she thought. For someone everyone else abandoned. The captain stood tall, one hand gripping the console, the other pointing forward like a hunter marking his kill. His voice rang with steel. Full power to forward batteries. Target their reactor core. His crew answered with savage joy. Fingers slammed controls, weapons locked, engines howled. Liara screamed, "You can't win. You'll all be killed." The captain glanced at her, his scarred face calm, his eyes blazing with fire. Maybe. But if this is how we die, then let the galaxy remember it. Her throat closed. These humans weren't fighting for victory. They were fighting for her. The Predator ship unleashed its fury. Every cannon fired, every missile streaked across the void. The cruiser's shields flared, shuddered, then cracked under the storm. Fire tore across its surface. The enemy commander shouted in panic. Impossible. Hold the line. But the humans pressed harder. Their ship slammed closer, their guns refusing to fall silent. Sparks showered the bridge, flames burst from the walls, but still the crew fought with unbroken rage. Liara felt her body tremble, not from fear, but from awe. She saw now why the galaxy feared these carnivores. It wasn't their teeth or their hunger. It was their hearts. Humans refused to yield. They chose to protect, even when it meant burning with their enemies. The cruiser's main weapon powered up, a glow brighter than a sun. One more blast, and the humans would be finished. The captain's voice cut through the smoke. Divert everything to the main cannons. Engines too. A soldier hesitated. That will overload. Do it, the captain ordered. The ship screamed as power surged, every light flickering. Weapons glowed white-hot, ready for one final strike. Liara covered her ears, tears streaming down her face. Please don't die, she whispered. The captain's voice softened, just for her. We're human. This is what we do. The final volley fired. A storm of energy slammed into the cruiser's reactor. For a moment, silence fell across the battlefield. Then the enemy flagship exploded. The blast lit the void like a newborn star, fire swallowing dozens of ships nearby. The shockwave shook the Predator ship, hurling it back, tearing its hull apart. Liara screamed as darkness swept the bridge. Smoke and fire filled the air. She thought it was over. But when the smoke cleared, she realized the human ship still lived. Barely. Broken. Bleeding. But alive. The enemy fleet scattered in panic, their leader destroyed. What remained of them fled into the stars, unwilling to face the wrath of humans any longer. Silence fell. The battlefield was empty, save for the battered predator ship drifting among the wreckage. Liara unstrapped herself and stumbled toward the captain. He was slumped against the console, blood on his forehead, but his eyes were open. You won," she whispered, her voice shaking. He gave a faint, tired smile. "No. We survived. That's enough." Liara's tears spilled freely. She knelt beside him, clutching his arm. "Why? Why would you fight for me? I am nothing. I am cursed." The captain's gaze hardened, even through his exhaustion. "Listen, Liara. You are not cursed. You are alive. That is enough for us to fight for." His words cut through her like light piercing the dark. For so long, she had believed she was doomed, abandoned, worthless. Yet these monsters, these feared carnivores, had bled and nearly died to prove her wrong. The other humans staggered across the bridge, wounded but still standing. They smiled, some even laughing, as if they had not just survived the impossible. Their eyes shone with the fire of predators who had once again proven the galaxy wrong. Liara looked at them all. She remembered the warnings, "Fear the humans. They are killers." But now she saw the truth. Yes, they were killers. Yes, they were predators. But when the galaxy abandoned her, they had chosen her. They had fought for her. They had saved her. And in that moment, she understood. The galaxy feared humans. But to her, they had become something else. Saviors.